Good evening. Thank you for joining in, Sarulata, Pranavi, and Madhulika. It is an honor to have each one of you here. And today we are diving into chapter number 11, which talks about forgiveness. How many of you had an opportunity to see the video that I had shared of Gaur Gopal, thus on forgiveness in the group? It is a short 6 minutes video. Okay, Madhulika got a chance to see it. Amazing. I would love for you to, go and check it out because as much as we are reading his book, it is equally important that we imbibe into the energy that he has, the kind of aura he keeps, and the kind of lectures he gives as well. So, let's dive into the chapter. It is a little lengthy chapter. We might have to, go on to till tomorrow for on this, but let's see how far do we go tonight. Let me start sharing the screen. How many of you think that you do not forgive people?
I didn't get you,
Forget
dear.
की तो बात ही बहुत दूर है.
What you have done to forgive you?
No, you don't have to forgive me. I have not done anything wrong to you. Yes, Sarulata, you want to share something?
No, for your question, I just answered.
Cool. All right, let's start reading and let's see where do we stand in here. Chapter number 11, Forgiveness. Forgiveness is a complex concept. We must understand it thoroughly to be able to internalize it. Darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that. Isn't that an amazing thing said by Martin Luther King? You cannot drive in Mumbai without seeing billboards everywhere. Every few minutes, you see a new purchase that you have to make to survive socially. They leave nothing to the imagination anymore. Let's look at the ad campaigns around beverages, for example, from fresh ho jao to maximum taste. They tell their audience exactly what to expect. This is the reflection of our society, which is to the point and direct, losing its subtlety. Subtlety. How we market our products is just a reflection of how our view of the human condition in general has changed over the years, I told Harry. We no longer bother with the subtle intricacies and niceties in our relationships. We think about people in terms of their purpose or utility, and hence our interactions are driven by that intention. We think about products the same way. The look on Harry's face was now a mixture of intrigue and what are you on about? What are you on about? We live in a world of quick fixes. We can microwave our food and it instantly becomes warm. We can stream our movies and watch them whenever we like. We can book our tickets to anywhere using our phones. Instant travel arrangements, no problem. But sadly, our relationships do not work that way. They follow the same principle as growing a plant. Constant care is required so that one day it blooms. There are no shortcuts. It's all, huh?
It's all in our
Just a minute.
small but consistent gestures.
I went, I think I clicked somewhere wrong and it went like way ahead in the book. Just a minute. It's all in our small but consistent gestures. Thank you, Madhulika. The most widely underestimated quality which can help us improve our relationships is forgiveness. If only forgiving someone was as easy as changing television channels, Harry said. There is always a part of me that cannot forget the bad things people have done to me. It becomes hard to trust them after a while. Forgiveness is hard to theorize. It is a bit like salt. You know only when it is missing. I laughed. Going by Harry's reaction, I thought the joke was funnier in my head. Forgiveness warms the heart and cools the string. It is a choice that each of us has to make for ourselves to save our relationships and achieve peace of mind. There are a few things we should remember in practicing forgiveness. Number one is look beyond the situation. When you think about, the phrase, look beyond the situation, I would love to seek from you, what is it that comes to your mind? Anybody would like to share? Look beyond the situation. When I see it as, even if there is a disagreement, there is more to it. There is not only the disagreement. And that is how we look beyond the situation. The situation is telling that we are not in agreement, but does that mean that the entire relationship is not in? No, right? There are so many better times that we have been together. There are so many other places where we actually have the same thoughts. Rather than staying there, I think we should start looking beyond the situation as well before hopping into any conclusions about our relationships. Good evening, Komal. Thank you for joining in. The ancient histories of the East are not only exciting to read, but teach us practical moral lessons. In fact, most of the principles I have applied in my life are based either on these sacred texts or on the experiences of people who live by them. One such text is the Ramayana. It tells the tale of Prince Rama, who was famously exiled to a distant forest for 14 years because of the selfish political motivations of his stepmother Kekai. He did not go alone, however. His dear wife Sita and loyal brother Lakshman willingly accompanied him as he gave up the throne. One day, few years into their journey, Sita saw an unusual yet radiant golden deer frolicking about. Enchanted by its beauty, she pleaded with Rama to capture it for her. Happy to do so, Rama set off to capture it, but left Lakshman with strict instructions to guard Sita whilst he was away. Who knew what lurked amongst the trees? It was then that a voice echoed in the forest, Sita, help me. The silence of the forest consumed it. Lakshman, please, somebody help me. The voice called out a second time. Lakshman and Sita both looked perplexed. Intuitively, a telepathic understanding was exchanged between them. That sounds like Rama's voice, but he has never called for help like this before. Little did they know, the golden deer that Rama was chasing was the demon Maricha in disguise. Could the valiant warrior Rama really be in trouble? Lakshman, go and save him. You must help your brother, Sita commanded Lakshman, but to no avail. He knew Rama would be fine. He had just defeated thousands of demons in the forest without breaking a sweat. What could a deer do to harm him? It is your duty to go, Sita panicked. Just the thought of one's beloved being in some sort of danger can bring an outpouring of emotions within the lover. My brother can protect himself, Lakshman said. gazing into the darkness as snakes slithered and various winged creatures flew past. But you cannot. My duty is to protect you. Rama would never forgive me if I left you here, vulnerable to whatever lurks in the darkness. Some of us who are familiar with this story know the dangers that lurked in the darkness. Lakshman paced up and down like a palace guard. But this was no palace. It was a straw hut held together with damp earth. Anyone could have been loitering in such a place. We are in the middle of nowhere, Sita argued. I order you, I command you, I beg of you to go and save your brother. I have a feeling that he is in a real danger. They say pulling rank is the last refuge in an argument. But people say anything when they are distressed. A few minutes passed in silence. Help me, please, someone, came another shout from the distance. That is your brother calling to us for help. How can you do nothing? Sita screamed. I see. Now that Rama is out of the picture, you think you can have me for yourself. You want the kingdom all for yourself. Sita knew that that was not true and that Lakshman would have done anything for Rama, but she wanted a reaction. Lakshman hung his head in sorrow, fixing his gaze upon the sand by his feet. What an accusation for him to face from someone he had dedicated his whole life in service to. His heart was crushed. Please go and save your brother, Sita pleaded again, more gently this time. Lakshman made sure that his sister in law was safe and then ran into the forest to pursuit of Ram. The episode is particularly powerful in context of forgiveness. Sita had pierced and caused injury in Lakshman's heart with the arrow of her harsh words. In our lives, we may find that we are cast as both Sita and Lakshman. Sometimes we are the ones stringing the bow, and at the other times, we are the ones under fire. But it's important to note an unbiased perspective. What Sita said was factually wrong, and it was insensitive of her to have made such accusation against her brother-in-law. However, if we look past the situation, that is, if we look past what was said, we might be able to understand why it was said. Sita was going through a personal turmoil. Her emotions were flying about as she speculated the king of pain, kind of pain her beloved husband might have been going through. We have all been in situations where our intellect is clouded by our emotions. At those times, we say anything and everything for our own peace of mind. Although a moment of patience in a moment of anger can save us 1,000 moments of regret in the future, usually when we are suffering intensely, we cannot help but let our minds run amok. And that is why this saying is there, no? When the emotions are high, the logic goes down. Whenever somebody is in anger and whatever they are saying at that time does not actually means anything. So it's always better that you do not respond to it, do not react to it, do not take it personally. Let them be. For our own growth, we should maintain equipoise in testing times. When someone hurts us, we should try to look beyond the situation and think, how are they suffering? What are they feeling to say such things? Is there some deeper chaos that is occurring in their life for them to say such words to me? It's not about supporting the hurtful comment made by others. It is about seeing what they are going through to be making them. This is empathy, an essential component of forgiveness. You might have heard this multiple times in the sessions somewhere, if you have been with me for some time now, that whenever, whosoever is saying anything to you in anger, in frustration, just understand that it is not for you. It is coming out because there is something inside of them that is not at peace. Otherwise, when that person is at peace, you will find him happy, go jolly person. Whenever there is some turbulence happening inside of you, you are going to throw it out on others. What you have inside of you, you give outside of to others as well. And understand that for yourself as well. It is not the person. I have been giving this example multiple times. Ki if your mother-in-law says something to you, you go into your room, you see your child doing something silly, and you start lashing out at your child. What is happening there? Normally, if the child is doing that, you will be like, "Hi, kitna cute lag raha hai." And the moment you are lashed out by your mother-in-law, you go into the room and you also start lashing out at your child. Why? Because it was something inside of you that was not at peace. Right? Anybody wants to share anything here? Any life examples, anything that you would like to share? And how maybe somewhere you would have lashed out and now you know what you need to do. Maybe somebody else lashed out at you and you lashed out back to them. Maybe there is a learning for that as well for you. I'm looking out for some hand raises. Sarulata, Pranavi, Madhulika, Komal, do you have anything to share?
I don't have much to
I,
say.
Yes, Madhulika.
Karishma, this is such a common scenario that you gave, that
Yes.
someone else lashes out, or maybe someone complains, or someone said bad words about us, and our child is doing something, and we lash out. We, but that is not also correct, na?
Absolutely.
If if my that act is not correct,
Hmm.
right? So
Yeah.
the same act, if done by someone else
Hmm.
to me, is also not correct.
Yes. True. Since they have not been
Right?
taught how to
Then where is
deal
the
with that,
empathy?
so
Then
the
why empathy?
empathy is coming because you are in a room where you are learning this. They have not been into such rooms. We are on this journey of helping ourselves lead a better life. They did not learn it. It is a choice. It is always a choice that you make. Whose peace of mind is going to be there if you know, let go of it and be better person?
But if we keep on, giving that empathy to others, might not be one situation like, things can take them for granted, like, people can take me for granted, or I might
It
feel,
is said that
am
you
I
do
a
not
loser?
need, it is said that you need not
Karishma,
be a
then
doormat. Hmm.
then where does that line goes that you tell people how to treat you? You teach others how to treat you.
Because when you
There is a
treat
big
them well,
contradict. It's not that I am against it,
mm-hmm,
but I think for this example,
mm-hmm,
it's not correct. Not about mother-in-law. I'm not talking about mother-in-law, neither sister-in-law or maybe in-laws or whatever. I'm talking about for the person, for the people who are with you day and night. You know, I think यहाँ पे सबसे ज्यादा जरूरत होनी चाहिए, बट यहाँ पे जस्टिफाइड सबसे कम होता है. ये स्पेस ऐसी है. You need to tell them how you are supposed to be treated.
not at the time when they're lashing out. When the
No,
emotions
I'm
are
not saying
high,
not.
yes, of
Yeah,
course you can talk. If I assume that you're talking about spouse, and it's absolutely okay. I agree with what you're saying, but the thing is, whenever, if you also start saying this and that, do you think that person will be actually listening to you? No, they will not
point
listen
is
to you.
not
They will
this.
just say,
No,
when they are
point
at
is not
peace, I
this.
think I think the best part you can do is when they are at peace, you can communicate. This is how I would love for you to handle the situation next time.
No, point is not this, that should I lash out or not. See,
Hmm.
I should never lash out. I should never reciprocate at the same level, from the same energy, from the same corner of the room, for sure. No, this should not happen.
Hmm.
The question is, should I be empathetic? My question is this.
I
Or
don't
should
know.
I, मतलब मैं बैठ के यही सोचती रहूं कि इसके साथ क्या हुआ है जो ये मेरे ऊपर आके ऐसे, मतलब whatever. हाँ, for sure I should not reciprocate the same way. That is not my personality. I am not going to do this.
No,
But on
for
the other
me, the
hand, should
first thought
I
is
be
always
empathetic?
this. No, for me, so I still remember one of these days I was sitting with my youngest daughter and I was also telling her the same thing. You don't know what this XYZ person has gone through. Let's give them some time to, relax. But obviously that the my youngest one has so much of curiosity and she keeps on asking, Nahi, if this is not right, then this is not right. How can this happen? But having said that, I try that I should give that space. Why? Why would I do that? Because I know in the happier times we are so much happier as well. It is not that anybody is coming to you and every single day they are lashing out at you. There are certain instances when they are not in their right frame of mind and they might shout or be angry or say some uh, hurtful things. It is a choice. There is nothing right, that there is nothing wrong. It is a choice that you make. So, Madhulika, when you say that how do I tell them how to treat me? In that case, that was your question. When I am not reacting, if somebody is yelling at me or shouting at me, doesn't that person get this message कि अच्छा ठीक है, जब इसको भी गुस्सा आ रहा है, let her be. गुस्सा कर लेगी, आराम से बाद में शांति से बात करनी.
No, again, Karishma, it is my choice. I am learning. I am here in this room. That person is not blessed enough to be in this room, right? There are no blessings showering on that person. They are not. See, when you are ready, you will learn it from even anywhere. You can learn it from your maid, from anywhere.
Yes,
But
of course.
for that, you should be ready. If the person is not ready, then nobody can teach them.
True. That is also true. I don't know. I act that way, and it is helping me. It is favoring me. If even if I get angry and I start, with my chandi roop someday, my husband gives me that space. कि चल भाई बोल ले, बाद में देखता हूँ तुझको. So, hmm. Anything else that you want to share, Madhulika? This is a question. This remains unanswered. Maybe something comes up in the other pointers that Gaur Gopal Das has shared, and that might answer that question that you're asking. But let's see. Let's park this question for now, I would say. Yeah. All right. Pranavi, what do you have to share?
Today, though, I don't have much to share, Karishma. And in fact, on Saturday, Sadhu Vaswani School has invited me as a judge for the inter-school competition, and the topic is forgiveness.
Wow.
But I don't know. Somewhere the connectivity is like, mm, mm,
It is not landing right now.
Yeah, I need some time.
Okay. Cool. Maybe towards the end of this chapter, there is something that comes up for each one of us. Komal, do you want to share something?
Hi, Karishma. Not as of now.
All right. And Sarulata, do you have anything? Let's move on to the
No,
second point.
Karishma, not as of now.
Okay. Separate the episode from the person.
Yeah, I'll just
It
try to read,
is.
Karishma.
Yes, please go ahead. Pranvi.
Separate the episode. Oh, wait a second. I have the book here. Separate the episode from the person. It is said, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. This could not be further from the truth. Physical violence is inflicted with weapons, but emotional violence is inflicted with words. Words can leave invisible scars that can take years or even lifetimes to heal. Let me take your mind back to Nepal, to the foothills of the Himalayas, and to the story of my closest friend who had spoken harshly to me in front of our community members. The reason I had to go to Ukraine was to help inspire the Bhakti society there. But my passport was stuck at the Ukrainian embassy in New Delhi. My friends lashing out at me had left me feeling humiliated, and I had returned to my room distraught. What happened in my room thereafter is relevant here. I was able to move from anger to forgiveness because I remembered to separate the episode from the person. I repeat, I remembered to separate the episode from the person. Of course, I must mention that this principle is not applicable in all situations, especially those of social justice, which I will discuss later. But in our personal interactions, for the most part, it works wonders. When I fail at something, whether it's an exam or relationship, I may think that I'm a failure. But just because I failed one time or even more than once in my life, does it really make the whole of me a failure? Similarly, just because someone may, on a rare occasion, have failed us, should we treat that person like a failure? Should we not see that lapse as an independent event? Everyone is going through challenges concealed from the public eye, and we need the lens of empathy to be able to see that. This is not to say that we should tolerate abuse or not do the sensible thing and correct someone when they are wrong. But in order to practice forgiveness, we have to learn to separate the incident from the person. Disconnecting the person from the problem starts with the language we use to describe the incident. Saying it is my problem causes us to feel guilty, and over time, one may develop an inferiority complex. We may begin to think that we are not tough enough to deal with situations, and thus we may become morose over issues. Saying it is your problem causes us to feel angry. How many times have we pointed our index finger at someone and used the words, "It's your problem, not mine"? I have never seen anyone say those words in a peaceful state of mind. Blaming the other person only leads to a spiral of anger. Saying it is the problem separates the problem from the persons involved. Not only does this separation empowers us to forgive the person, it also helps us to effectively deal with the problem.
All right.
Higher, yeah,
Let's pause here and see if something shifts here in this room now.
yeah. Can I just discuss on this?
Yes, please.
Yeah. Uh, just 2 days back, I guess. Actually, my servant listens to the instructions very carefully. But then the other day, instead of cutting one vegetable, she has cutted another vegetable. And my husband was telling that I told her many times to cut this vegetable, and instead she has taken another vegetable and she has cut it. I said, please, for this time, don't say anything to her, because my servant's daughter-in-law, she has lost both the kidneys, and she is hospitalized, and my servant is in deep pain. So, as this Gopal has told, she has never done a mistake like that. She was always attentive to you. But for this time, she is in deep pain, and that's the reason why she has done like that. Please excuse her, karke I requested him. So it's something like, as he told, I have totally detached the person from that particular problem. And second thing was, I mean, after reading this, I'm able to label it. I felt very empathetic that she's in a deep pain and she's not in a position to listen things attentively and take a decision. So I think somewhere there the forgiveness went on like that. So somewhere I got connected to that.
Great. Thank you for sharing that, Pranav. And it absolutely makes sense. Anybody else wants to share anything on that? Yes, Madhurika. You're not
So yeah,
audible,
I can,
Madhurika.
yeah. So I can correlate with this situation that I think Pranavi has shared, right?
Yeah.
I think this happened that Pranavi was also very clear that she has never done such a mistake in past. That is also, if she is in deep pain or not, it's okay. I mean, if someone does the mistake once in a while, we can always overlook it. I mean, it's okay. How does it matter? We'll cook this next time. Or maybe कई बार हमारे ड्राइवर से कुछ नुकसान हो जाता है या कुछ है, but otherwise if he is very attentive, if he is very punctual, once in a while it's okay. Then you can relate yourself with empathy. But if something, see, again the same cycle continues. You are living with a person, for example, and that thing comes to you again and again, maybe in the same way, then this empathy injection doesn't work, this empathy medicine doesn't work. Then what works is set your boundaries. I think
Yes,
then
of
you need
course.
to, no, then I cannot be empathetic that okay,
Exactly.
I'm working from that zone only. Okay, so यहाँ मेरे को हल्का सा ये लगता है कि जब कोई एम्पैथी के बारे में बोलता है, ये क्लियर क्यों नहीं, मतलब this should be very much cleared that where to use it and when not to use it, because the people who are not using it, they feel guilt. भाई मैं तो यूज ही नहीं कर रहा एम्पैथी.
So the thing is
I'm not.
that this is a question of, forgiveness right now, Madhurika. Whenever you have to come into a forgiveness zone, you have to become an empathetic person.
I can tell you one more example also. The
No,
other day,
Karishma, it's not necessary that you need to be empathetic. You need to be selfish for your
So
own
that
peace of mind.
empathy,
No,
I be,
no. Empathy is to look from which place the other person is operating from. कि उसका empathy is to understand your emotions as well as understanding the other person's emotions as well. Whereas on the other hand, the approach of being selfish means you work for yourself. That
मेरे
fine
को
for
forgive
my
क्यों
peace
करना
of
है?
mind,
Exactly.
for my peace of mind, not
Exactly.
for them. Not for them कि वो कौन सी स्पेस से ऑपरेट कर रहे हैं. I have
Till,
nothing to do.
so
वो जहां मर्जी से ऑपरेट.
do you think your heart and soul will be convinced, um, if you do not give it a reason to forgive somebody? Our subconscious mind needs logical reasoning. It needs actual factual things. It needs to be told कि हाँ, क्योंकि ये how do the beliefs work? Beliefs को हमारे को evidences देने पड़ते हैं so that it's the subconscious actually starts believing it. अभी हमारे को अगर नेचुरली उस स्टेट में रहना है तो वी विल हैव टू टेल आवर सबकॉन्शियस माइंड कि पता है क्योंकि वो बेचारा ऐसे था इसलिए ही सेड दिस एक्स वाई जेड, लेट इट बी. मेरे को अपनी पीस ऑफ माइंड ज्यादा प्यारी है इसलिए लेट इट गो. जब तक उसको आप वो वाली स्टोरी नहीं सुनाओगे तब तक डू यू थिंक योर दिस माइंड विल नॉट ब्रिंग अप द सेम कॉन्टेक्स्ट बैक अगेन? इट विल कम बैक अगेन. तुमने तो उस टाइम पे भी यही किया था ना. Forgiveness is not ऊपर ऊपर की चीज. No, forgiveness is a deep thing.
The best example is again, I faced it very recently. Actually, my boy had a dream of buying a Benz car after his, after his engineering.
Mm.
So he was just telling to his dad that if I get this particular pay, maybe
Mhm.
for 20 years, it takes 20 years of time to buy a Benz car. Then immediately I told that ki, yes, Mitesh, I'm there with you. Why you wanted to take for 20 years? It may take to 10 years also. I'm there to financially support you because
Mm.
I know that it would just stand as a dream to my boy, because in reality
Mm.
he really can't buy with that pay package actually. Then
Mhm.
immediately my husband pounced me back, and he told that, who are you to tell that you're going to support it? End of the day, it comes to me, and I'm already expecting something from my son that he should give back money to me. Instead, why are you asking that I would support him? So
Mm.
immediately I got so much angry on my husband because he is not making the child secured over there. I
Mm.
gave a security to him that I am there with you all the time. Go ahead, my sweet boy. You can achieve your dreams. But my husband was very angry on me because who are you to involve and tell that I would pay him financially or whatever. So after 2 to 3 days, again while doing the lunch, I told him very clearly that at my younger age, my dad always used to tell me that I'm there for you, sweet darling. You go ahead. So similarly, I conveyed the same thing to my son, telling that I'm there with you. So I think you have misunderstood it, I told. If the same words would have been said right away on the day he has pounced me back, then it would have led to a bigger war. At that particular instant, I forgived him because being a father, he felt burdened that he was somewhere giving the word to the son that I would pay him or something like that. He felt stressful about it. I know about his nature also. I gave him 2 to 3 days of time and told that I was raised like this and I will always be supportive to him. Then he listened properly. Okay, she's telling from the child's point of view. Okay, done. So on that first day itself, I have excused him in an empathetic way because I understood that this is the personality he's carrying out. Later, I have taken certain time for him to make him understand that it is your duty to make your kid feel secured and protective. So there he has forgiven me after 2 or 3 days, telling that, okay, my wife has told something else and I have done like this. So as you said,
Mm.
empathy may not come to the picture all the time. But then, as this Gaurav Gopal Das has told, you need certain timing and certain incident or whatever to make the other person think that he is wrong and he's being forgiven. It's something like that.
Wow. Thank you, Pranavi, for sharing that.
Yeah, yeah. Karishma, I'll just call you back. My daughter is calling.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. Let's go ahead. Higher purpose. After setting the ground for forgiveness, I now felt that Harry was ready to hear the story I had promised to tell him. In my opinion, the couple in my story was in a far worse situation than Harry and Lalita. However, it is hard to compare people's sufferings. That is why I avoid doing so. Like many of my other stories, the incident this one is based on also looks place during my travels. I travel so often that sometimes I give a morning talk in Chennai and by the evening I'm speaking in Kolkata. One day I'm in California and the next I'm in Cape Town. It is only natural that I feel connected to so many different communities, meeting a different variety of people from around the globe. One community when I frequently travel to, but will not mention here to protect all those involved in the incident, is where the story starts. I had just finishing I had just finishing unpacking. I would be staying in this room for a week. which was an age for me. I usually live out of my suitcase because, like a shepherd, I am always searching for a new land to spread my message of positivity. I sat down cross legged and was just about to start with my evening meditation when a man burst into my room, letting his tears fall to the wooden floor. Alarmed at this overflowing emotion, I shot up immediately, my knees clicking. She's cheating on me, he exclaimed. I shut the door to my room and closed the blinds. My instincts was to pour him some herbal tea. My mother always used to say that when someone is upset, a warmth of herbal tea and a friend's word can help to heal them. He sat on the floor with me. She's cheating on me, he said again, in between sips of a chamomile beverage. I had been friends with this man for over 20 years. In fact, I had attended an event as part of his wedding ceremony, counseled his family, attended an event as a family through thick and thin, and I had never expected him to say something like this. He was an engineer, had one 17-year-old son who was expected to follow his father's footsteps and lived in a three-bedroom apartment, an ordinary gentleman with an ordinary job caught up with this extraordinary situation. What happened? I asked as I held his hand. His tear-filled eyes, quivering like the air in the heat wave, looked back into mine. Yesterday, I was checking my wife's phone to get the address for the wedding function we were supposed to attend later in the evening, and I saw multiple notifications from a man. He mentioned who the man was, and he was a senior member of their community and held an important position of leadership. I thought nothing of it at first. He contacts many people to invite them to work with him. But as I scrolled down and looked through the messages he was sending my wife, they were not innocent. I can't even tell you what I read. And she had replied similarly. He let his tears drop into the tea, which was now lukewarm. With his upper lip quivering, he said, At that moment, my wife walked in and saw me on her phone. From the look in her eyes, she knew that I knew. What's it all about? I asked her directly without hesitation. I had decided to communicate and clarify what was going on without jumping to conclusions straight away. My wife paused for a moment and then came towards me. She said, I have been messaging him for few weeks now. I'm sorry, I don't know what came over me. It started out innocently. He needed help with some work, but then it led to more. One very admirable thing about his wife is that she has always been down to earth and honest. He continued, I asked her, Have you met? And she interrupted and saying, No, of course not. We have never met. This meant that they have never had any physical relationship, but even so, I could tell that this incident had left an emotional scar on this man. Sometimes the deepest wounds are inflicted by people who are closest to us. How could he trust her after this? How could he forgive her? Had she done this before? I could see that these were the thoughts that were tormenting his mind. I also knew the man his wife had been talking to. After this incident, he was asked to step down from his position because not only does a leader have to pave the path for the community, he has to walk along it too. He did confirm that he had never had a physical relationship with this man's wife. What shall I do about the situation? The man asked. I poured him a second cup of herbal tea. How can I trust her again? That dangerous question again. What shall I do? I thought. I am no one's guru. Everyone must make their own choices. Nobody should tell us what to do, but good advice greatly helps us in our growth. With that in mind, I asked, Do you love your wife? Without a doubt, he said. You should always keep that in mind when making any decisions. But right now, you only have two choices. He calmed down a little. Do you want to choose justice or do you want to choose forgiveness? Either is fine, but you have to make the choice. Justice may cost you your marriage, and this news may go public, ruining many lives. And that's fine if justice is what you need. People have their own capacity for what is acceptable to them and what is not. He started to focus on his priorities. I can't leave her. We have a 17-year-old boy who will be distraught. Nothing like this has happened in the past in our family. I'm really sad because I thought our bond was stronger than this. Then you have to forgive. Maybe this is just circumstantial. Are you willing to give her another chance? How can I forgive? I will only think about what she did to me every time I look at her, he said. Forgiveness means to take note of the higher purpose. Weren't you telling me during my visit last year that she is the best mother to your son? And how she has given him so much affection, dedication, and love? Focus on the higher purpose that brought you together. It would shatter your son if you decided to divorce her now. Besides, if she is willing to make amends, give forgiveness a chance. Although infidelity is the hardest thing to forgive, it is no match for the relationship that is driven by higher purpose. Do we want to be right or harmonize for a higher purpose? It will take time to make that decision, he said. I poured him a third cup. Third time's a charm. I thought to myself, take as much time as you need. Time heals, and with the right association and guidance, time brings clarity. Relationships are tested during difficult times. To accept someone when everything is going right is easy, but when things are falling apart around you and you stick together, that's the test of a relationship. Love is when we have every reason to break up, but we do not. We spoke for some time on this issue before I introduced another concept to him, the difference between forgiveness and justice. Hmm. Anybody wants to share anything from this? We have gone past the time as well. So I think we will stop here and we'll start from understanding the difference between justice and forgiveness tomorrow. All right. Before I end this session, I would love for you to, if you have anything to share, please feel free to unmute yourself and share. An odd silence after the episode, after the story that we have read, right? It's okay. All right. On that note, take care of yourself. Have a good night's sleep. God bless you all. And see you tomorrow at 10. Bye-bye.